So we are living in a society where men and women are not really pursuing what they truly want, and that is the biggest wrong you can do to yourself, not following your purpose and your passion, especially as a man. So it comes with a lot of fear behind it. When you're fearing the rejection or fearing an outcome, you're looking too far in the future. That's what anxiety is. And unfortunately, people are consumed by their anxiety. And when that happens, you don't really have an adventurable life. There's certain individuals you see on social media that have overcome that and they start to travel the world by themselves. And they're having so much fun. And when you think about it yourself and you're traveling the world by yourself, there's a lot of people that think, like, how do I get through this? Like, what am I gonna do? Like, what if I get lost? What if I get kidnapped? What if I die? What if this happens? It's all the what if questions.
And it's
But
overthinking too.
overthinking as well. Yep. So, but the thing there is those what if questions are all questions. They are not reality. And the reality is, as a human being, you instinctually know what to do. You know what to do in a bad situation. So, going out to different countries or traveling the world or whatever your purpose and passion is and taking those risks, don't get me wrong, you might fail or you might fall in something that might not be great, but you might have a memory behind that. And what is the greatest gift in the world? That's memories. I would rather have a million memories than $1 million because I can look back on that and think about how great my life was and what I got to do. The dad war, for example. The idea of fathers back in time going to going to different places and experiencing different things with buddies and talking about it. It's so cool. It's like a movie. And nowadays, people watch movies, fake movies, to get that sense of glory and feel like they're in there and get that emotion. But imagine how much more confident and how much more like successful and less fearing you would be if you were to take a step foot outside of that and just travel the world or do something that you're afraid of doing. You know, I, for one, used to be afraid of talking to girls. And then when I first approached, it was awkward, but I felt so good about myself because it was like a sense of like purpose. It was like, wow, I just went up to a girl and I asked for her phone number. It went terrible, but my God, that was like I feel so good about myself. I feel more confident. Confidence is the repetition of skill. Kale might be confident in girls, but he might not be confident in mechanic, but unfortunately he is. He's a just a really confident man. Just look at him. But um, so when the repetition of skill, if you're consistently trying to improve yourself and get out of that shell of yours, just consider this. Every year when you make a New Year's Eve list of what to do that year, put down three or four of the most interesting and crazy experiences you want to experience before the year ends. And I used to do that back in 2022. And um, 2023 was actually one of the most interesting years ever had. I went to Turkey and I met a lot of people. I went cliff jumping for the first time. I went paragliding. It was insane. And those were things that I put on my list. And I I I can't get too deep into details, but there were some parties that went really wrong that I went to that were very interesting to be in, and they're going to be stories I can tell in the future. But those things made me very confident, because I went out of my shell, because I was a very, very shy guy. But when I started to get out of my shell and experience life, I realized how how the more experiences you experience, the more confident you become as a man. The more hardship you go through, the more confident you become because you already went through the hard part. So when you're looking back and it was something super, super difficult and you achieved that, you look right now and you think about that and you're like, if I was able to do that, I can easily do this, you know? And Kale here, Kale and I had a conversation a couple weeks back, Halloween weekend when we were down at Penn State, and it's definitely changed his life. Kale, you want to talk about that story?
Yeah, absolutely. We were in the car driving back to our room, and and we had kind of had a talk about confidence, and kind of going on that we had all kind of, Trey and Emery and Cooper, we had all kind of talked about it as a group too, just about how in life there are sheep and shepherds. There are people that will lead and there are people that won't lead. And what makes a great leader, and part of what makes a great leader is confidence. you know and so and then we went even deeper in that, and we said, what is confidence? And confidence is, being confident in who you are, being strong in your decision making, standing behind yourself and what you say, not not being, well, maybe I want to do that, well, I don't want to do that, just being confident. And also, we talked about, whenever, you know the most attractive feature to a guy is confidence. Being confident in yourself, in your family, with your friends, with your passions. Okan is very passionate about be going on YouTube and making podcasts about this. He's very passionate about that. Someone else may not be, and they may have no confidence in it. But Okan's very confident in it, and he keeps pushing himself forward. And it's okay to make mistakes too. Part of mistakes is who we are. It's okay to make mistakes as long as you learn from them. If you're not learning from your mistakes, then what's the point? How are you going to grow?
Said it perfectly, Kale. Absolutely amazing. And um, with confidence, it will change your life. That's why I'm constantly saying this in this podcast. I'm going to keep saying confidence because it's going to get into your head. You're going to start to say confidence 100 times a day, because confidence is the most important thing you need in life. Because confidence is being yourself. Confidence is you being fearless. Confidence is you living your life and not living as a shell of yourself. You know, if if you were to be in a different dimension, actually, you know what? I'll bring up a great example. Fight Club, right? Amazing movie, one of the best movies I've ever seen. You got two people. You got the alter ego of forgot his name, Tyler Durden. Tyler Durden is the alter ego of forget his name, but if you've watched Fight Club, there is a character in the beginning who you can tell is this shy, timid, depressed, negative person, and his alter ego is a man named Tyler Durden, who I like to think of like when I think about confidence, your yourself in a different dimension. It's someone Tyler Durden is the complete opposite. He's incredibly confident, incredibly charismatic, good looking, muscular, um, and he doesn't give a shit what society thinks. And by the end of the movie, he had literally riled up people to start destroying the city. I'm not saying you want to start doing that, but I'm saying that when you're confident in that like that and you're able to speak with confidence and complete certainty, people will just gravitate towards you. And if you're confident in your decision making, you're going to succeed. I'm not saying you can be confident in your decision making and you won't have any fails. You will, 100%, but you're also going to have a lot of success because if you keep making decisions, eventually there's going to be some good ones, and that's going to build your confidence too. So, this episode is huge on why you need to, as a man, become as confident as you can be as you grow older, because without it, you're not going to experience life. You're not going to go out of your shell. You're not going to go travel a country. You're not going to go do things that you truly sit there every day and think about and complain about. Because that's what most men do. They complain about their situation when they're living they're so grateful to be living in this amazing home and with a parent, maybe not two parents, maybe a parent, and like they're complaining when there's people in Syria or people in Haiti that are dealing with so much problems, war, or Israel or Ukraine, like war everywhere, people are dying, like that's that's serious problems. Your problems are nowhere compared to their problems. So you can achieve you can push yourself to get through that. I have, Kale has been working on it and he's getting much better. And as someone who's an incredibly timid and shy kid, I have changed for the better. And that's why I'm making this podcast to just for anybody. I don't even care about trying to get it out there as popular as possible. I only just want to I'm passionate about making these videos, and I hope that I can entertain and give out good, useful information for men that deserve it instead of them falling into the red pill rabbit hole and getting shitty information that is all about bashing women and just terrible, terrible things that ruin the mental health. I'm giving you realistic goals that you can achieve. And for this video and the end of it, I just want to say this. I want to say that starting after you watch this full video, starting tomorrow, I want you to have a goal in mind by the end of the month. Something that is scary towards you. Whether that's talking to girls, go up to 10 girls and approach them and try to get a phone number. Even if it doesn't work out, just go up and talk. If it's um touching a spider, who cares? Just touch the damn spider, you know? Those are scary things, but everyone's different. Some people are scared of different things. If it is making a YouTube video, a podcast, and releasing something, do it. Do it. No one's stopping you. What are they going to do? Cry about it? Get upset with you? Who cares? They don't. They shouldn't matter. If they put you down, they don't care about you. They don't they don't appreciate your time, and all you got to do is walk them off and laugh at them. That's frame control. What we talked about in the last episode. Not giving a shit. You gotta have thick skin in this world. If you don't have thick skin, then you're gonna be a sheep. You're not gonna be a man with a duty in life and a purpose that God intended for all men to be. Kale, what makes you different from people? What are some things that you as a young guy you were insecure about, but now you look and you're like, you know what, this is who I am and I'm proud of myself.
Going back to that, I used to wear my Dolphins jersey all the time at school. No one else did. I was the only one in the school wearing it. And you'd get laughed at and made fun of, or people would come up to you. But honestly, I'm glad I did it because now, I was different. I wasn't afraid to be myself or who I thought I was gonna be. Growing up, pretty much there's only one other person I know who likes to rent on cars with me. Growing up, I didn't have a lot of friends that did it. It'd just be me and my dad out there. And, every once in a while, my friend Adam would come over and we would do it. But, and I love that because now I'm confident in fixing my car. I know that if it breaks down on the side of the road, that I can fix it, that other people can rely on me to ask them questions about it. And I'm making a living off of it. And I'm making a really good living off of it. And I'm proud of that. And I'm confident in myself to keep going every day to try and earn more money and also try and learn too every day to be better and better myself.
How did you get yourself to that position? Was it scary at first to like sign up and become a mechanic? Like,
No, not really.
no?
It honestly, like, I really loved it. I had a passion for it. I remember the very first time I was 5 years old, and my dad had a project BMW, and I went out there and we'd be out there and we'd have father son time together. We'd be out there and he would be explaining to me how everything worked, and he would hand me tools and I got to work on it. And we did that throughout my childhood. And then when I got my first car, it wasn't in the greatest condition when I got it, and he would help wrench with me out in the garage, and I loved it. And it just felt very natural towards me, and I loved it. And I had a passion for it.
Like I said before, dude, there's two things to know that what your purpose is. Something that you love to do and something that you're good at doing. That is a man's purpose. And Kale, would you say this is your purpose to become a mechanic long
Absolutely,
term?
yeah.
And listen, guys, there's going to be people that bash you for whatever their purpose might be. See, for Kale, being a mechanic, he already knew at a young age. But for a guy like who's my age, not sure what they want to do, you do know what you want to do. You're just, it might just not be something that might make you a lot of money right off the bat. I'll give you an example. What if you want to be an actor? What if that is your purpose? There's people out there that that's their purpose. Their purpose is to be an actor, but it's really hard to make it in the business. So they end up doing something they don't really love just to make a living. But you can, like, if you don't believe in yourself, you're never going to get anywhere. Who knows? if God intended for your purpose to be an actor, He has good things set up for you, and you should go for it. And if you go for it, you never know. You might be a very, very successful actor. You might be a Will Smith. You might be a Dwayne Johnson. You might be a John Cena. I don't know why I'm naming WWE wrestlers, but they're actors now. So, but you need to be amazingly different. Like, you have so many different gifts that other people will never ever have. And the entirety of the human population, there's no one going to be exactly like you. You're completely different from 8 billion people. Just think about that when you're insecure. Think about how you're different from 8 billion different people. It is so crazy to think about. You're one in 8 billion, and there's never going to be someone like you again. So, why would you not use those talents that you have and go out in the world and give that gift?
And I think, and I kind of want to add on that too is that a lot of you don't start at the top no matter what you do. You're always going to start on the bottom and should build your way up to what you want to be. You know, look at hot Cheetos, for example. The guy who created Hot Cheetos was a janitor. He started at the bottom as a janitor, and then he went to the CEO of Hot Cheetos with that idea, and now it's probably one of the most popular spicy chip things out there, and it's made Cheetos billions of dollars. And he started at the bottom, and I think a lot of people, especially in this generation too, is everyone wants everything to be handed to them on a silver platter, and sometimes that always doesn't happen. Working for something is really good because then you appreciate it a lot more and you've earned it. When you're up there, nothing can knock you off because you've earned it. You've been through everything. You started at the bottom and now you're at the top and you've worked for it.
Yeah, to add on to that, Kale, that's great that you just discussed um, that hot Cheeto person, like the janitor. What if he never did that? He's probably incredibly successful now, has
Yeah.
millions of dollars. That janitor had the balls to go up to the CEO of that company and walk up there and say, I have an idea. That is balls. That is what a man should be doing. Forget about man. That's what any human should be doing. If you have a great idea, do not be afraid to go out there and share it. Or if you want to build it yourself, don't share it and focus on working on yourself. If you have a great idea, because you're a human, you have a lot of creativity in your brain. Every human does. There's something that you know would be successful, but you're too lazy and you're too lazy putting it off. You're procrastinating, you're thinking this won't work out, you're gonna waste time. No, the only time you're wasting is sitting there thinking about doing it or not. So never compromise in your principles. It is in the sense if you're undoubtedly who you are, no matter what somebody says, you're not gonna compromise what you believe in. Oh, like your parents be like, oh no no no, don't do that, don't do that. It's a terrible career path. You're not gonna make money doing that. You're not gonna change that. I don't care. Sorry, mom and dad. I love you guys, and I absolutely adore you, and I appreciate the feedback, but I don't care. I'm gonna do what I want to do, you know. And if it don't work out, I'll always have a backup plan. That's part of being a man. You're always gonna have a backup plan. I mean, too many people are compromising their principles, going to off to college when their parents tell them to, even though they don't want to. There's a great movie for people to watch. It's about a guy named Brian Bursworth. He's a guy that was a football player. Um, he was an O lineman. I forget what position he played, but he basically, when he played high school football, he wasn't great. He was at best D3. And his dad wanted him to go to I forget it was a community college football team. And Brian Bursworth told his dad, I'm gonna because he got a full ride scholarship there. So he told his dad, I'm not doing that. I'm going to I believe it was Alabama Tech or Arkansas Tech, one of those schools. It was a D1 school. It might have been just Arkansas. I think it was Arkansas. And he went to that school, or before he went, his dad was pissed at him and said, "You know how lucky you are to even be going to college? I've never been to college, and you're wasting your opportunity. You're not a D1 football player. You've always been D3." And Brian Burswood took that to heart. This is a true story. and he went to
He walked on. He was a
he
walk
walked,
on.
yeah, he walked on the team, and everybody pushed him down. Everyone was like, "You're not going to do it. You can't do it. Don't." He The first thing he did was he almost injured a scholarship player on the team, and the coach went up to him and said, I will get rid of you. Like you are not a scholarship player. That kid's a scholarship player. You're not. You're lucky you're even walked on. I'll get rid of you." And Brian took that personal. He didn't get emotional about it. He just kept training and training. And his senior year, they were one of the worst teams, and the coach was planning to completely rebuild the team. And Brian, he caught Brian in the middle of like 3 a.m. working out, and he's like, "Boy, what are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm training. This is my last year. I want to win." And he was like, "We're not gonna win. Like the chances are so low. Like I appreciate the effort, kid, but like we're not gonna win." And he said, "Coach, leave this up to me. I'll win this for us." And the coach was like, "You got one chance, kid." And he went out there. He went to all the football players' dorms, told them to pack up. We're gonna go live together. They all lived in this tiny townhouse. All the football players, and they trained and they trained and they trained. And that is a leader. Brian Bursworth is the example of a man. He did not let anyone compromise his principles. He did what he wanted to do, and he believed in himself. He doesn't give a single shit if his dad didn't like it. He didn't give a single shit if his coach didn't like it. He didn't care if he went up to his dorm mates, the football dorms, and told them get the fuck like packed. Those guys were probably pissed at him, but he didn't give a shit. He's like, we're gonna win this year. I don't care, and he motivated that entire team, and they won. And that is never compromising your principles. Doing that is a gift to yourself and a gift to others because you might be a Brian Birdsworth and win a title with your team because you pushed them. Just one person, it takes a mustard seed, one individual to do the extraordinary, to push the others. And it's the gift that God gave you, you know? Some people have it and some people don't really use it. Everybody's got that gift. Everyone's got that gift of becoming a leader, but most don't use it. So, but to just say thank you so much, Kale, for the time. Do you have anything
Absolutely.
else you wanted to discuss with me before we get going?
No, I think that was it. We
That was
covered everything that we wanted to cover.
great, Kale. Well, listen, I appreciate the time we got to spend together. And for everybody, I wish you all well. Kale, thank you so much.